Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. Thank you so much for joining me again for our discussion on the 30 points on which we can engage with others in dialogue. The Quran is in dialogue with other scriptures, and we can be in dialogue with people of other faiths. These are the points to discuss. The point we're going to be discussing today is the question about light. And why is light contrasted with darkness in the sacred scriptures? And how does light relate to God and to the wisdom and the knowledge that God is revealing to us through His scriptures? Now, you might have noticed how pervasive light is now. Like, we have modern electric lights, so we can have lights at any time of the day or night, indoors, sometimes even outdoors. Like, if on a game field, for example, if there's going to be a late night game, the field might be lit up with electric lights. We have become accustomed to having lights. But if you think back to way back when, people didn't have lights, and people might stumble and fall in the night and so on. So people had to invent the fire to, or you can say discover fire. Then they had to invent lamps in order to guide their footsteps at night. What about the guidance that comes from God? Isn't that going to prevent us from falling into error? And isn't that sort of light even more important than the physical lamps of this world? How does that all relate to God as light? It's an interesting verse of the Quran, which I would like us to now look at. All right. So it's in Surah 24. It's called Surah An-Nur, the chapter of the light, appropriately so because it has this amazing verse in it that has captivated even non-Muslim Orientalists who have been studying the Quran. They just, find this verse fascinating. So it's the 35th verse. It says, Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. مثل نوره كمثل مشكاة فيها مصباح. His example, or the example of his light, is as the example of a lamp. Al-misbahu fi zujaja. The lamp is in a crystal. Az-zujajatu ka'annaha kawkabun durriyu. So it is as though this crystal is a star that is lit up. Yukadu min shajaratin mubarakatin zaytunatin la sharqiyati wa la gharbiyya. It is fueled by an oil from the olive tree that is neither of the east nor of the west. Yakadu zaytuha yudi'u wa lam tamsashu nar. This oil itself is almost glowing, even though no fire has touched it. Nurun ala nur. So we have here light upon light. Yahdillahu li nurihi man yasha. God guides to His light, or with His light, whomever He wills. God guides with His light whomever He wills. وَيَضْرِبُ اللَّهُ الْأَمْثَالَ لِلنَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And God coins similitudes for people, and God is knowing all things. All right. So that's a very powerful verse describing God as Nur Samawati wal Ard, the light of the heavens and the earth. Very captivating. Now, it is interesting that the description of God as light and of His teachings and wisdom as being light as well, this is in the Christian scriptures. We find, for example, in the Holy Bible, Revised Standard Version, here in the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament, which is basically the Jewish Bible. So in Proverbs chapter 6, verse number 23, we read, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching a light, and the reproofs of discipline are a way of life." So this is in praise of the commands of God and referring to the teachings as wisdom. Now, the idea that God is somehow compared to light, this is mentioned in the in the New Testament in one of the writings to Timothy. So 1 Timothy, we read in chapter number 6, starting with verse number 15, which he will bring about at the right time. He who is the blessed and only sovereign, the King of kings and Lord of lords. It is he alone who has immortality and dwells in unapproachable light, whom no one has ever seen or can see. To him be honor and eternal dominion. Amen. Now you see that there, God is described as light, like he dwells in unapproachable light. No one has ever seen him or can see him. He alone is this immortal God. Immortal means, of course, he doesn't die. So you see, this is very close to what Muslims believe. It is interesting also that not only in the Christian scriptures, we find in other sacred writings and sayings attributed to the great heroes of the world's religions, light and wisdom are equated. For example, the Buddha is famously noted to have said that there are 4 lights. There's the light of the moon, of the sun, and the light of fire, but the 4th one is wisdom. But he said that wisdom is the crown of them all. That's the greatest light. Comparing God with light, the Bhagavad Gita says that if 1,000 suns were to rise up all at once, imagine the brightness, that will be comparable to the brightness of the great Supreme Spirit. So we find it very pervasive among the world's religions that God is described as light, and God's teachings are also referred to as light. So there is this contrast between light and darkness. Light stands for good revelation from God, and darkness stands for evils and wickedness and, people being in ignorance and all of that. Even outside of religion, you find reference to darkness as, being associated with evil things. And people, for example, might want to do things under the shadow of darkness because that's when they feel that nobody might see them. They might do wicked things. So how does that all play out into the lives of Muslims? For Muslims, we want to seek and embrace the light. We want to stay away from darkness. We want to stay away from the dark web, from the dark movies, and all of that. On the contrary, we want to live in the light, but we also want to introduce the light to others. We want to enlighten ourselves and enlighten other people. So it is very refreshing to see that there is such confluence among the world's religions on subjects like this. Though the world's religions differ in so many aspects, it is good to see that they have so much in common. In fact, we are more similar than we are different. So this Ramadan, why not take a moment to talk to a non-Muslim about Islam? Or it might be a fellow Muslim, but you need to enlighten that person a little bit more. And of course, by trying to enlighten somebody else, you end up enlightening yourself as well. The guidance is such that we shouldn't hoard it. It's not that kind of commodity which you need to hoard it and save it from anybody else taking it away. It is that sort of thing which the more you give it away, the more of it you seem to have. It comes right back to you. So, join me again tomorrow when we'll talk about another aspect that we can discuss with our fellows and colleagues and acquaintances, and that will be the universe as a sign of God. So let's talk about that tomorrow. Peace be with you, and the mercy and blessings of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. For the past 25 years, Let the Quran Speak has been enlightening the world about the beauty and wisdom of Islam. It is produced right here at Muslim Media Hub. And this show can only continue with your help and support. To lend your support, please go to muslimmediahub.com. Peace be with you. Assalamu alaikum.